What's up, YouTube? I'm gonna make a quick video for y'all, show y'all what I'm doing real quick. I got my engine block back from the machine shop, looking all pretty. I used my hone on the cylinders. I had them deck the block. I got fresh cam bearings. And that was all I had done on the cylinder block. Crankshaft, kind of doing like a backyard shade tree mechanic cleanup here. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing. There's one of the mains. See if it'll focus. Anyway, guys, been taking this 2K sandpaper here, and I got my little packing strap, and I just kind of walk it back and forth with both hands. I just got it set up so you guys can see what I'm doing. But you just wrap it around the crankshaft and then pull it on either side. Take that off and take a look at it. Seems to be doing okay. My experience with crankshafts, you know, ideal is like a mirror polish. That's hard to get without the proper tools. Of course, I could sit here and do this all day and probably get to it. It's hard to tell, but there's very, very minor scratches in this crank surface. You can see them there with your, well, the camera can see them. But you want to get those as flat as you can. My understanding is that any indent in the crankshaft face or these journals is okay. We can live with that because oil will just fill up in that cavity inside the crankshaft. So take, for example, I took this box cutter and I just cut a line into this crankshaft journal here, the rod journal. It would make like a valley in the crankshaft, and then on the outside of that valley there'd be two peaks, because that material has to go somewhere, so it gets pushed out like a mountain range. Like you have high mountains on either side and a valley in the middle. And that's the same thing that would happen on this metal. The valley's okay because it's going to fill up with oil, and that's fine. We don't care about that. But the mountains are a problem. So that's what'll give you your tight crank, and it could spin a bearing there. So we don't like that. So we're taking some of this 2K sandpaper. It's super fine stuff, and we just want this surface as smooth as it can be. And we're going to run it. I got some Plasti-Gauge, and we'll see about tolerances and how we're looking once I get it back in the engine. So yeah, that's it, guys. I got my bearings, my pistons over there. I'm gonna go clean those up in a minute, get the gunk off. They don't look terrible. Let's go look at one real quick. Sorry guys, trying to get the zoom right. Let's take a look. Yep. So they got some crud on the top. The rings look okay. The rings look loose, which is good. There's your top compression ring, your second compression ring, and then your oil control ring in the middle. That's actually 3 rings. There's that middle zigzag ring and then a top and bottom ring. These are not fully floating, but I think they're floating is what you would call it. You see how the piston floats on the pin? And then standard stock rods and bolts. These are cracked cap rods. You can see the bearings in there got some wear. Looks like some sand or something got in there. But you can see how once it gets in there, it really doesn't come out. It just makes a big ass groove. So, only other thing I've been up to, guys, was, I'm sure some of you have seen, where'd they go? Some of you have seen the trunnion upgrade kit. So I'm going to be getting those pretty soon. This is a standard 5.3 LM7 rocker arm. GM has been using these for years, and I think they put them in just about everything. I think they're 1.7 to 1, maybe. But they make a kit that gets rid of those dual inner outer race needle bearings and puts them in either a bushing, a bronze bushing, or a fully captured needle bearing. It's a little bit better design. So we're going to be doing that. It's not crazy expensive to do, but I got all of them pressed out already, so they're ready to go. And yeah, I think that's it for now, guys. I'm going to finish getting this crank polished up, or cleaned up anyway. I'm going to hose it down, run a snake through each of these oil holes, and then flip this guy over and get some fresh bearings in the bottom end. I have a set already. And then I ordered a full rebuild kit for this. So that's rings, all the gaskets, main bearings, rod bearings, cam bearings, which I don't need. Yeah, basically a full gasket set. And we're gonna gap these piston rings for boost and nitrous. So we're gonna play around with this motor and see what it wants to do. But I think that's it for now, guys. I might paint it up. I might pick up some like POR 15 black paint or something and hit this guy up, or maybe lime green. I don't know. I was thinking about that. I think that'd be sick. But anyway, guys, that's kind of where we're at for right now. So I'm gonna keep going and cut you back on later.
What's up, YouTube? Hope everyone's doing all right, man. It's Labor Day weekend. I wanted to go ahead and take a quick video for you guys. Show you guys what I'm doing tonight. You guys can see I got this is the 5th main cap off. And you can see I got some plastic gauge set up right there. And just wanted to talk about what I'm doing. I got a set of old LS bearings that I had from my previous build that I didn't use. And putting these new bearings in, main bearings. And gonna try and check the tolerance tonight, or the clearance between the crankshaft and the main bearings. And to do that, we're gonna be using plastic gauge. And there's many videos out there about this. You guys can all look at them. But the premise is we put this, I'm not sure if it's a clay or what it is exactly, what kind of material it is, but it's kind of soft and squishy. And basically the gap that's between the bearings and the crankshaft will equate to a thickness on this little piece of paper here. So once we torque down the main caps, we'll come back and check this little string, and we'll see, you know, is it a clearance of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000ths of an inch. And the thinner it is, the less it got compressed, which means the more clearance we have. And I think for LS motors, it's between 2 and 5 thousandths allowable. I gotta look that up. I don't remember exactly, but you can see I got everything washed and cleaned up pretty well anyway. I ended up getting the block surface decked. You can see that. I honed the cylinders with my 3-stone hone. I kind of polished up the crankshaft by myself with some 2K sandpaper. Tried to get it as smooth as I could. And then had the cylinder heads decked as well. And they did just a basic valve job on them just to get them back cleaned up. So nothing too crazy. I didn't want to do that. You guys remember this is going to be a bare bones rebuild, which I think we're still trying to get there. I think I paid in total $600 in machine work for the block, and I had them put new cam bearings in as well. And then the cylinder heads, I think I paid about $200 to get them resurfaced in a valve job. So that's kind of where we're at, guys. I ordered a engine rebuild kit that's coming in. It's not quite here yet. You can see the plastic gauge right there getting smushed between the bearing and the crankshaft. And you want to do this with no oil or lubricant on the crankshaft and bearings. I'm just getting them set in here. I got one more, which is the fifth main bearing down here. I'm going to drop it in and torque these guys down and see how the tolerance looks. But I wanted to take a quick video while I had everything out so you guys can actually take a look at it. So there's some things to know about installing crankshaft main bearings, which I'm not going to talk about here. There's tons of videos out there you guys can watch on it, but I'm going to keep going, torque these down, and then we'll cut you back on later. All right, YouTube. Torque down my main cap bolts. These are the old ones. I got my trusty plastic gauge guide here. You can see 2/1000ths of an inch is that big guy. This guy right here. So on this piece of plastic gauge, that's the lowest I guess denomination that you could get out of this gauge, plastic gauge. It's a little redundant, but they have different sizes for different gauge ranges, or clearance ranges rather. That's in millimeters, but any case, different sizes. So the smallest reading you can get is 2/1000ths, or maybe the biggest reading, and then the largest or smallest, however you look at it, is 6/1000ths of an inch. So from what I understand, the rule of thumb is for every inch of bearing journal diameter, you multiply that times 1/1000ths of an inch. So on this LS LM7, the main journal diameter is 2.559. So the spec we're looking for between the main bearing and the crankshaft journal is 25/1000ths of an inch, so 0.0025, 2,500ths of an inch. Anyway, if that makes sense, 0.0025 is what we're looking for. And all that means, clean this thing. All that means for us is we want to see our plastic gauge between this red and this white thickness. So if our plastic gauge gets smushed in between these two sizes, then we're in good shape. This is journal number 5. You can see it looks like it's about 2/1000ths. Journal number 4, creeping into the 3/1000ths. Not quite 4. Between 2 and 3. Which is still in spec, if you remember. Our goal is 0.025. This is the number 3 thrust bearing. That looks like 2/1000ths. Number 2 main cap looks like 2/1000ths. Number 1 main cap also looks like 2/1000ths. So those all look good. Let's check out the engine. It's not as easy to get to these. Let's see. So this is number 1. So I'd say that's about 2/1000ths. About 2 thousandths there. Not going to measure the rest of these, but they all look very similar, which is good. I don't think you can have too much disparity across all the main journals, along with too much difference between the bearing size and the journal size. So there's two measurements you have to look for there. The disparity across all of them, I think you can't have a bigger difference than 1/1000th of an inch between all 5 journals. So if you had one that was 0.001 and the rest were 0.0025, then you'd probably be in trouble. And you'd have to figure out how to fix that. You can either use an undersized bearing, or you can get your crankshaft ground down, depending on what you got to do. So that's good news. I'm pretty tired. I'm not going to torque down the crankshaft tonight as much as I would love to. I even brought out my assembly lube. Got the Purple Power. Just not going to get to it, but I think that's all I'm going to get to tonight. Like I said, I got some parts coming on the way, man. Trying to think if there's anything else. No, I think that's it, guys. Yeah, we'll catch you later. All right, YouTube. Back out here working on this 5.3 from the junkyard. I got my engine rebuild kit for this guy. It's only one box, but got another one down in there. Engine Tech. A couple $100 for that guy. It's got rings, rings, cam bearings, rod bearings, all gaskets, etc., etc. Reusing these main bolts. Got them cleaned up. Gonna put some thread locker on them and get them put in. Using the blue stuff. But right now, juicing up these main caps with a little Purple Power engine assembly lubricant. See that right there? I've already hit them with brake clean. I did my plasti gauge measurements. Everything looked fine there. I got the crankshaft sitting in here. Spins pretty freely. You can see that it's looking good. I already got some engine lube on these, so they're not dry. See it down there, that purple stuff. You can see how the lubricant kind of sits in that groove in the bearing. But yep, spinning nicely. Anyway, guys, I'm getting ready to put these guys in, torque them down, and then the crankshaft will be in finally. I know I said I was going to use the factory camshaft, which I still might, but I think it's a better move and money well spent to get a aftermarket cam. I think I was looking at either a sloppy cam or a BTR Stage 1 Brian Tooley Racing truck cam. Looks like they pick up torque all the way through the power band, and then even pick up 40-50 horsepower on the top end, so it's kind of a no-brainer. I want to try and prioritize torque on this motor, and have it as a good streetable daily driver with a automatic trans. So that a truck camshaft kind of makes sense for me. And then we're going turbo. So if your motor makes more horsepower naturally aspirated, you're going to make more horsepower with a turbo. So the more we can make without a turbo, the less boost we need to make the same amount of power with a turbo. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. I'm gonna get these main caps on. This is cap 1. I'll take it, drop it just like this. It's difficult with one hand. There it is, juicy with the assembly lube. Drop it down. See, it's got a 1, number 1 marked right there. And try and get it lined up here. Get our rubber mallet. Another thing that's important, make sure you pay attention to the tang. The tang is right there. It sits in this deal. You see the other tang is right there. My understanding is you always match tang to tang. So that's what I'm doing. Come on, buddy. Give a little tappy tap. I know some people don't like the tappy tap. It's what I've always been told. Whether I'm right or wrong, who knows? Maybe I'm right today, wrong tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. Make sure it lines up in the bolt holes, which it does not. Fuck. Beautiful. Get some bolts in it. These are your inside, these are your outside. These have the stud on top for the girdle, or I'm sorry, the windage tray. I need to put thread locker on these actually. So anyway, drop that guy down. I can tell it's not seated right. Might have to take it back off because these should be dropping in and they're not. Come on, buddy. Eventually it'll pop up. Just take your time. We're just beating on the block casting and I'm not putting any force behind it. I would do this with a lot faster, but I only have one hand and I don't want it to go flying off. Come on, buddy. Yep. Let's get this guy lined up. Looks about right. Use my good eye. It's kind of hard to tell. Got a flashlight? Okay, yeah. I can see the bolt holes down there. Yeah, so it's looking dead on. Yeah. And you can look at the side marks, like you can see this guy. See where they live on the side of the block, or the inside of the block. And we look pretty good on the side. So we're going to give it a tappy tap. Tappy tap tap. This is a dead blow mallet. You can hear the sand in there. Safety goggles. We get a bolt in there first, matter of fact. So we get her going straight. Come on, you fuck. Funny. Alright, what's the deal? Classic. Work on cars, they said. Can't see a damn thing in there.
I'm gonna get some bolts in it first and then tighten it down.
Definitely looks like my first rodeo, doesn't it? And the new guy. Like the new guy around here, apparently. The FNG. Freaking new guy. But this is a kid's channel, so we can't say that. Alright, let's try this again. It's popped up. Where's the holes at, buddy? Okay, that guy's threaded in. These are the bolts that I took out of the motor, by the way. And we're gonna let him ride. Yeah, that guy's threaded in. Boys, heard don't torque these down with an impact. And I'm not going to do that. We're just gonna get them going. And then give it a tappy tap. So it hopefully drives it home straight. Oops, sorry. Do not use a metal hammer to do this. If you only have a metal hammer, put a block of wood between the main and the hammer. Don't just go beating on your main cap. It's bad news bears. Alright, I'm thinking that's pretty good. You can see the gap is pretty cleared up. And we're done with that one. So we got to do 4 more. Guys over here. I'm going to juice them up and get them in. It's not torqued down, but it feels good. All right, guys. Anyway, I'm going to do this and cut you back on later. What's up, guys? I got you hanging in a makeshift sling here. I'm going to show you guys me torquing down these main bolts. I got everything in with thread locker. I got the side bolts in there with RTV, which I just got on my finger. You guys can see I messed my finger up here, but it's all good, man. LS Power is not going to make itself, right? So the sequence is we start with the inside. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we go 11, 12, 13, 14. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And I'm going to do it in 3 sequences. I'm going to do 15 foot-pounds, 30 foot-pounds, and then 65 foot-pounds. And you're supposed to do this with a torque angle gauge. I think the inner ones are like 80 degrees and the outside ones are 50 degrees past 60 foot-pounds or past 30 foot-pounds or some shit. I don't really know what it is, but I'm going to do it to 65 foot-pounds and roll with that, guys. I got my trusty Harbor Freight torque wrench set to 15 foot-pounds, I believe, so let's keep going. I already torqued some of these center ones. It should be good. Okay. I think these outside nuts are a maximum of 20 foot-pounds, so I think after the second time I torque these, I'm just going to torque them to 20 and probably call it good. I have to check the torque spec because I can't remember what it is, and I'm using my phone to record this, so. But I'll check in 1 second, guys. Oh, come on. Yeah. Ow. I need to get a adapter. A little hard to get to this guy over here. It's a little tight. Alright. Easy breezy. Let's see. I had to get a narrower 10 mil to get to that corner. We'll go back to the center here. And we'll jump up to 30 foot-pounds. Looks like 30 to me. Camera doesn't want to focus, does it? Anyway, guys, you have to trust me. I'm using my good eye. I'm going to leave those outside bolts until I can find the torque spec, and then I'll go ahead and change it or torque them down. I'm pretty sure they're 20 foot-pounds. They're not very much. Let's see. That is 60. Oops, sorry guys. Focus, you bastard. Anyway. 62, 64, that's 65. Anyway, same deal. This should be my final torque pass. I did put thread locker on these bolts. I put orange thread locker on them. See if I can find a better socket. Yeah, okay. Put orange thread locker, which I've never seen before, but apparently it's medium strength, but it's higher strength than the blue. So apparently it's a little bit tighter. But anyway, let's keep going. Already did those. I like to come back and put a dot on all of them so I know that I torqued them down, because Tom drinks beer, and when you drink beer you forget, and I'll forget that I torqued them down. So the white dot lets me know they're torqued. But anyway, that's it, guys. Always check that your crank spins freely. Feels good. I'm not sure if I'm going to check thrust, bearing thrust in this crank. Maybe I will, whatever. But yeah, guys, pretty straightforward. I'll cut you back on later.